Skills Advisor at the Warwickshire Skills Hub. So the aim of this workshop today is we want to help businesses explore opportunities that are available to help you develop a strong pipeline of talent and skills within your business. And with that in mind, we have obviously brought together the collection of speakers today to help you explore the opportunities that are available. So we're going to go through and speak to several different providers, starting with Jane and Alicia from Warwick University. So I'll hand over to you guys.
Thanks Vicky.
Vicky. Right, I think it's me to get started. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alicia Belton, and I'm joined by my colleague Jane Marino. We both work within Student Opportunity at the University of Warwick, and we're a department that supports students in connecting with employers, developing their skills and getting them ready for their next steps into a career. Both myself and Jane's roles involve us speaking and meeting, albeit virtually at the moment, with employers both regionally and nationally, excuse me, to understand their business needs and consider the best options to connect with our students. So there's options for attending careers fairs, other events, hosting students through internships, placements or work experience, or just recruiting our graduates. So over the next few minutes, you'll see there we'd like to share information about who our students are and what they're studying, share the types of ways in which we work with employers, highlight the various options to work with our students, from hosting them for internships to recruiting them. Consider the benefits of us working together, and to outline ways we can take this forward if you'd like to engage with us and our students. So my first quizwitty was next slide please, but Alice has already thought ahead of me, so thanks Alice. So a little bit about our students. For the current academic year, we've got over 28,000 undergraduate and postgraduate students, and that's across the Faculty of Arts, Science, Engineering and Medicine and Social Sciences. We've got over 29% of our student population coming from outside of the UK, so a really large international population there. We've got 33 academic departments, including languages, history, traditional sciences, computer science, engineering and business, to name just a few. Students will be learning skills through their study, anything from critical thinking, leadership, teamwork, and all of those that you can see listed there. So a huge range of skills that they're actually taking away from their degrees with us. All of our students are keen to learn, they're inquisitive, and they're goal orientated. And as I've talked about with a number of businesses personally in the last few weeks and months, they're really interested in finding out about the ethos of your organisation, the work-life balance. At the moment, obviously, everyone working from home predominantly. This is a key thing to consider at the moment. So they're really interested to find out more about your organisation, what you stand for, and what you've got to offer them and them to offer you. So can I have the next slide, please? So a little bit here about our student life cycle. It's important to be aware that students don't necessarily work to a timeline within their academic year of study. They can't be available through all times throughout this. So you'll see that this academic year cycle is broken down on the slide there, with student availability all listed there for you as well. Autumn term is our busiest time in terms of recruitment events and advertising, and provides a lot of opportunities to attend careers fairs, other events, and just ways for you to raise your profile with us on campus. So this timeline in particular is driven by larger employers who are looking to recruit for their graduate programmes for the following year. They will tend to have closing dates of the 31st of December for those, and they'll also be speaking to students about summer internships and placements as well. So that interest for the following summer is there as well. Our spring term is still a good time to advertise your summer internships if you have them, or register interest in our university-owned managed internship programme, where we work with SMEs and have grant funding available. We also have a smaller number of sector-focused events that take place during this time, often to highlight some of those hidden sectors that maybe aren't as prevalent throughout the autumn term. Our summer term is obviously exam focused, but it does still provide an opportunity to advertise graduate jobs or summer work experience for students who are still looking at that point in the year. Our Summer Careers Fair, which incidentally took place on Tuesday, takes place once that exam period is finished. So if I sound a little tired, that's because I was running that on Tuesday, and it was really, really good. You'll also see on the slides that our students' vacation times are listed there with their sort of various lengths. And students can do part-time work during these times and have that flexibility to work with you as well. Kev, next slide, please. So how can we help you to build and raise your profile with us at Warwick? Our My Advantage portal underpins all of your work with us and helps to begin raising your profile. You can advertise your vacancies for free and receive relevant information from us, and it only takes 5 minutes to set up an account, and we can help you with that. There's an opportunity to attend fairs, events and give presentations, and we can also connect you with academic departments for their own events and find out more about the needs of their students for particular placements that they'd like to undertake. We have a very much a consultative approach. We work with employers to understand their recruitment needs and the best options to help you raise your profile. Whether you'd like to host students, whether you'd like to recruit students, we'll talk you all through it. If you'd like to know more about events, for example, we can look to discuss these options further and find the most appropriate events for your needs based on your sector, business size, students that you're seeking, etc. I'd also point you to our resources for anyone looking to potentially host a student on the Internships, Placements and Work Experience website. It offers good practice information and advice to support employers in further understanding what's required, the options and step-by-step guides to show how to make this happen from recruitment through to actually hosting the students themselves. So I'll now hand over to Jane, who will look further at the options to work with our students at Warwick.
Thanks, Alicia. So good afternoon. As Alicia shared, we work in very much a sort of partnership model with businesses to understand the business, whether they're small, medium or large, and what they're looking to achieve, and what's the best option to explore working with our students that meets their business outcome. So in terms of hosting a student, as Alicia said, at the moment, due to COVID-19, we've had a lot of employers that we've been working with where they have been hosting our students or recruiting them for opportunities where they're starting remotely or they're going into the office later, or there's that combination of both. So we're fully aware that at the moment it's not the normal for hosting a student, but like I said, many of our students are actually working with employers at the moment. So in terms of the types of options to work with our students, I wanted to start off with a really light touch way that employers can engage with students from offering work shadowing for short periods of time. And this is a great way where a student would come into your business to find out more about a business or a particular role and to start that relationship going. So it's a very light touch way just to get to know each other and a bit more about the business. You can offer part-time or casual work, and this once again can be around supporting your specific business need, and these opportunities can be advertised for free through our jobs portal. Some businesses are looking to access temporary opportunities, and although these can be advertised on our jobs portal, we have on campus the Unitemps recruitment agency who are able to support with services to access temporary or to offer, if you're looking to offer temporary opportunities, because they have a much faster turnaround and are able to support you with that in sourcing someone for that. In terms of an internship, how Warwick describes an internship, it is where a student is offered a project for a specific amount of time, and that can be over the summer for 6 weeks, 12 weeks. It could be longer once they've graduated for up to 12 months. Internships tend to be, for the shorter opportunities, project-based, where a student has asked to come in and look at a specific area of work to achieve the objectives and the outcomes. And those opportunities we can once again advertise through our jobs portal if students are paid at least the national minimum wage. Warwick students do tend to engage highly with internships, and it's a great way for them to not only get experience, but for you to achieve something in your business that you may not actually have the time or resource to achieve. They are a great way to start a relationship, a great way for a student to understand your business and you to understand what they can offer. And it's a lower risk option if you're looking to recruit, that this could then lead to part-time or actually lead to a permanent role. Warwick actually run their own internship program. It's currently closed for the summer opportunities, but we're looking to open again in the autumn term. And this program is the opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses to work with our undergraduate students, and there is grant available for employers to apply for on a first-come, first-served basis. And in the next couple of weeks, we've got 95 students going out on internships with both local and national SMEs where those businesses have received grant funding. So as Alicia was saying, if you sign up for a My Advantage account, it means that you effectively can receive marketing for that programme. It may be that you're looking to recruit for a role, and as Alicia was saying, we can connect you with academic departments who are looking, where their students are looking to do a placement as part of their degree programme. And these placements can range from 4 weeks through to a year with master's projects over the summer. So there's huge diversity of the options to host a student whilst they're studying. If you're looking to recruit graduates, that could be through a graduate programme, or it may be that you're looking to offer a graduate role where you can provide an opportunity where the students can grow with the business, they can progress, they can receive development. So it doesn't matter if you don't have a programme as such, if there's opportunities for them to develop and grow, that's a great opportunity for our graduates. In addition, if you're looking to work with a knowledge transfer partnership with Warwick, where we're transferring our knowledge to your business, that is something we can connect you to the team that support those. And the same if you're looking to explore the route of hosting an employee as part of a degree apprenticeship. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So what are the benefits for all? And I say for all because, you know, when an employer hosts a student, it's great to support their business need, but it's also great for the student. And I'll go through some of these areas. So from a business point of view, it's a great way to access short-term resource through an internship, placement or work experience. A great way, as I said, to start a relationship. And for students, it's a brilliant way for them to develop their skills, their commercial awareness. And it's a way for them, because the COVID has impacted the experiences that students can gain, and they are fully aware that there is a cycle here that they need to gain experience or get experience in order to move on. So for both parties, it's a great way to access a short-term opportunity. Through accessing students, you are able to grow your business, or if you're looking to recruit a graduate, you can grow your business from either accessing skills or it can support your succession planning. In terms of gaining fresh ideas, through the internships programme, we've heard from a lot of employers where having a student working within their business, they're able to bring in a different perspective or a fresh perspective or a new perspective. And it's a great time, like I said, for a business to be able to actually free up their time to work on more strategic areas with a piece of work being undertaken by the student. In terms of development management, that could be from the point of view of staff supervising a student. It could be to support them with learning in terms of, we hear quite often that staff actually and employers learn from our students, especially around such skills as social media. It's a great way to test future potential by hosting a student for an internship or working with them part-time. And it is a great way to not only for the student to get that experience, but for you to see as a long interview what they can bring and the areas that the skills that they possess. Students do speak about what they've been doing over the summer. So once again, it's a way for you to raise your profile and for students to recognise what those experiences have brought for them. And it also supports corporate social responsibility and diversity and improving the skills of new entrants. Could I have the next slide, please? So in terms of going forward, if you would like to start working with our students, as Alicia was sharing, one of the best ways is to create an account on the My Advantage Jobs portal. This enables you to start raising the profile of your business, to advertise opportunities, and for students to find out about your business and even write speculatively to you for potential opportunities. If you would like to join the fairs and events that we run throughout the academic year, then I'd encourage you to visit the Employer Connect website. And if you are looking or thinking about hosting a student for an internship, placement or work experience, we've put together an employer-facing website that talks you through who our students are, when they're available, recruiting and hosting a student. If you'd like to speak to us, then you can drop us an email, and the email addresses are there. And we're more than happy to come back and have a conversation with you or to answer anything that you would like to explore further. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to either put them in the chat or to raise your hand if you would prefer. Thank you.
There's not any questions that have come through yet. Okay. So, oh, sorry.
I have a question. Do you have students who actually are studying sales and marketing at your university?
So we don't have a specific degree that is around marketing per se, but what we do have is we have students that can take optional modules or modules as part of their course around areas such as marketing. In addition, in addition, there are many skills that, students that are picking up these marketing skills as part of extracurricular activities, work experience, or providing support for a society or club. Marketing skills are highly sought after, and just from our internship program alone that we offer to employers, we have a lot of opportunities around marketing, communications, social media and PR that are highly sought after by employers and successfully recruited to by our students.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have Polly has got her hand up.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to ask the opportunities that you have with the degree apprenticeships. Where would I find out about those, please?
What we can do, we can actually put into the chat, we can put in the degree apprenticeships website link, which will take you to that information. So we can put that in for you, Polly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Any more questions? No? Okay, I'll hand over to you then, Heather.
Doing the old classic. There we go. So hi everybody. So my part of the presentation is just to talk about us as the Skills Hub, just as a reminder to some of you as to what we do, what our purpose is. So I'm only going to run through a couple of things, but the offer that we've got is quite extensive, so I will go through them as much as I can. But if we can go on to the next slide, Alice. So just to meet the team, really, just so that we can see who's who. So we've currently got 5 of us in the team, but that is expanding, developing and growing all the time as our offer becomes more complex. So Faye, you may know Faye Winterburn, she heads up the team as the lead commissioner for employability and skills. And then Vicky and myself work in the business skills advice sector. So Vicky works quite closely with Faye, working very closely with employers, large and small, discussing their needs and working out projects and programs to fit around their needs. I then also my role is more of meeting with employers on a one-to-one basis. So looking at what they need, talking through a business's plans for the future, how they see their business growing, and what kind of training and skills that might need to take to get them there. So I can then bring that back to Vicky and Faye, and then they start to whirl the cogs round and build up projects and programs that are going to meet their needs. And then we've got Nikki and Alice, they're employability and skills project officers. They do the real grinding work behind the scenes, making sure that the projects and the programs all run very easily and run to time scale. Nikki works predominantly on our school side of the employability and skills. So she has a lot of projects involving schools and the transition between schools and college and into the wider world of work. And Alice is the same, but she tends to be more on the business side of things. So we all do a bit of everything. You know, we all make the tea. We're not frightened to get involved and all jump in and offer our ideas and our opinions on things. So it's built up to a really good team. I'm really excited with the projects that are coming along. So next slide, please, Alice. So we're just going to look at 3 things really that I picked out as things that I thought might be of interest. So apprenticeships are a huge part of my role and our team's focus, and it's just looking at apprenticeships and busting a few myths. There are a lot of preconceived ideas on what apprenticeships are and how they work, and we have come across a few employers that have had no involvement in apprenticeships. So it's one part of our job that we really want to grow and make stronger. And then I'll just go through the business skills packages that we've got. So that's all about supporting you as a business, helping you grow, helping you grow your staff, or looking after the staff that you've already got. And we also have a lot of partnerships that we work with too. And then the talent pool really is a huge part of how we work. So there's not just one talent pool. We have many routes into training and skills. So it's really just looking at those talent pools and where you can find those candidates. So if we look at the first one on apprenticeships, so there are a lot of myths and it's just really looking at what the reality is. So a lot of people think that apprenticeships are just for school leavers, young people. In reality, there is no age cap on being an apprentice. I can be an apprentice, you can be an apprentice. It is not just about the young people taking on additional staff, getting them to do tasks that nobody else wants to do, or making the tea or sweeping the floor. Those days are gone, long gone. I think they went with YTSs, to be fair, thank goodness. So you know, there is no age cap on those apprenticeships. And another one is existing staff don't have time to go to college, and that's a big one because people haven't got the time to release their staff to go to college. But actually the studying and training, the majority of office-based apprenticeships do actually take place on site. And what in the construction industry, the engineering industry, and motor vehicle, and those kind of apprenticeships, they usually work on a day release where they would go into a college or training provider 1 day a week. Sometimes they can go in for block release, and there are some training providers that do longer than a 2-week block release. So there are lots of different models and methods of delivery. So it's all about reducing the downtime for the company without actually removing people from the workspace. And the thing that is now within an apprenticeship is it's called 20% off the job training. So the word off the job is a bit confusing because you're not actually removing that apprentice away from the job. Their 20% off the job training can be done within their work time. It should be done within their working hours. it works out that if you say your apprentice was working a 40-hour week, then it just means that one of those days has to be where they're evidencing their learning, their development, their training. So it could be anything: mentoring, shadowing, just watching what their peers do, and then at the end of the day they're taking down that evidence and they log that. That's part of their apprenticeship qualification. Another one is quite an important one that we get a lot, is that, and especially now after what's been happening in the last 12 months, that businesses can't afford to pay towards the training of their apprentices. And although the employer contribution has come down to 5%, it's still a lot of money for small businesses. So if you were to take on an apprentice who is under 19, then that is fully funded by the government. So there is no cost to you as an employer apart from their wages. So the apprentice minimum wage is £4.30 an hour currently, and as long more, that really is up to you and the apprentice as to what you actually pay them. And then after the first 12 months of that minimum wage, that gets increased to the minimum wage for that apprentice's age. So if they're under 19, then the wages is all you're looking at paying out. If you take on an apprentice who is over 19, then the government say there is a 5% contribution of their training costs that you would be expected to pay. So if you had an apprenticeship, for example, at £5,000, then you would be expected to pay £250 towards their training. And you do get government incentives. So if you're eligible, you can get up to £4,000 for an under 19 and up to £3,000 for an over 19. They do change quite regularly, and I think the latest ones are in place until the end of September this year. But it's the big thing that put people off taking on over 19s or using apprenticeships to upskill their existing staff is that they would have to pay that contribution, and they would have to up the wage after that first year. I think the one of the misconceptions that I've met with recently is that if you were to put one of your existing office staff, for example, and they wanted to do a team leader apprenticeship within their job role, they did think that their staff couldn't afford to take a pay cut and go back onto an apprentice's wage. That doesn't happen. That only applies to the young person who's first starting, or the older person you can even pay them the apprentice wage for the first year. But for your current staff, they just carry on with the wage that they're on. It's just that you're helping support them do that apprenticeship. So existing staff, another myth that they don't want to climb the career ladder, and there are some people that have been working in companies for years and years that they might not be interested in saying, well, why do I want to do an apprenticeship? I'm not interested in climbing the career ladder to get to managerial level. And the truth is, it's not all about progression. It's all about building on the experience that they've already got, looking at new skills they may like to develop. So you could have a team within your company that has been working along really well together, and they haven't really got a team leader as such. They perhaps got a supervisor, but that supervisor might want to take on a team leader qualification, and that would just help them build their team a little bit better than just not having any structure at all. So it's not always about going up the ladder. It's also about sort of expanding your experience and your knowledge. So there are a lot of apprenticeships that will fit into that category. Some may even want to take a divert into another area of the company, so that you may have somebody who's been working in an office for quite a few years, and they want to take on more of a HR role, or they want to look at a business apprenticeship that they can go into marketing or digital marketing, and that would be just as viable as taking on a new person, except you're not having to find that additional wage. So you still pay them the same wage. You're not taking on additional staff, so you haven't got to find room in the office or the building for them, and that apprenticeship can then work for them and build on their skills and make the whole workforce a lot stronger and more structured. And then the last myth I thought of was that people think that apprentices can only do certain jobs. I remember years and years ago when school work experience, they went to work in a bike repair shop. They couldn't touch that, or they couldn't touch that because of health and safety. And there was only certain jobs that they could do. So they spent most of the time just watching other people. And that's changed. That's changed a lot. Your apprentice is an employee of yours, and that employee does the same work and the same jobs as everybody else. The only time it comes into force where it's a little bit different is, for example, where health and safety, where your company really doesn't want under 18s working on certain machinery, or maybe in a care setting, an under 18 is not really suitable to do personal care on their own. So those kind of things are looked at individually, but apprentices do what other employees do. They are your employee, and they become part of your workforce. So there's nothing that they can't do, really. So next slide, please, Alice. So this is our business skill support service. So this is what we do, and this is what we're all about. And being in this team, they are the most passionate team you could ever wish to meet. And all of these projects and all of these programs are something that we take really, really seriously, and we would go out of our way to try and help businesses in the Warwickshire area. If it's anything that we can't help with, then we have a lot of partners sort of bordering Warwickshire, Coventry, Solihull, Birmingham, that way that we can refer people to should you just fall out of our area. So my role predominantly is looking at the skills and training reviews. So I would have a call come in or get a referral for an employer who is looking for something specific, maybe, or maybe they're just not sure as we come back from the pandemic what exactly that they want out of their staff. So I will sit with them. We will build a skills and training review, look at what they already know, what they're looking to do, where they want the business to go, that kind of thing. And then we can come away from that, and I can start talking to partners, start talking to training providers to see what kind of offer that they've got that would meet those needs. So that's one of our biggest services, that we offer that free skills and training review. It's very informal, but it's very supportive. So we never just say, no, we can't help you. We will always try and refer you to somebody that can help you. So again, we'll introduce you to our partners, and some of our partners can offer more than just skills and training. They can offer funding, grant funding, business support, and they can tap into a wealth of experience, free courses. They can do part-funded courses, so that there is so many people that we work with that can support you. So all that information and all those partners will be on our website. So that I would always say that that's the best place to start with us, is that look on our website, and the details will be at the end of the slides. One of our biggest projects that we do, which is ongoing, is our small business apprenticeship levy share program. So the levy share program is something that we all love to promote and to push, because it is such a boom for businesses. So if you are a Warwickshire based business, then you can apply to get that funding for your apprentice by tapping into our levy money, our levy budget. So we have a levy budget that we save specially for businesses. And what would happen is, if you had an apprentice who is over 19 and you are looking to pay that 5%, for some, the 5% might be £250, but then on some other apprenticeships, that 5% could be £10,000 or £5,000, and it could be quite a lot of money that you as a small business just cannot afford at the moment. So we support you. We get you to apply for that portion of funding, and then we will then fully fund that apprenticeship, so you don't have to pay anything towards that. And that's been an absolute godsend to a lot of people. And we get you to apply for it. It's approved within a matter of 2 or 3 days, and then we get you set up on a system where you then get that money is funded straight to your apprenticeship account. So that's probably the biggest and shiniest thing in our box that we love to promote. But we also have other programs. So apprenticeship program incentive scheme is another one that we do. So if you do have an apprentice who's maybe completed a level 2 qualification, and you're not sure whether you can afford to put them through to the next level, then we can give you an incentive for that. So currently it's £1,000, which we can get to you directly once that apprentice is signed up and working on that level, next level up program. So that's just an incentive that will really help last year's enrolments who joined at a level 2 and are now looking to stay on at a level 3. So that's another one of our incentives. And again, we've got the staff that will help support you go through that process. We have got a lot of involvement with local employers. That's our job, and we do like to run a sector skills, we call it roundtable, where we like to look at various sectors across the county and bring them in all together. So we're always looking for employers and businesses in different sectors who can all come together, and we just ask them what skills do you need, what training do you need to help get you back on track. Everyone's been affected and we want to get them back on track. So priority sectors, we're kind of looking at hospitality, we're looking at early years, we're looking at manufacturing, engineering, and that way we will get them all together and find out what their opinions are. We also do a future filming careers project. So we will make sure that you get a free service on that, where we will come out and film at your company for a day, talk to your staff, and then that gets transferred into a short 5-minute film. And that is a really good tool to have in your pocket to use as a promotion for your business. And we also promote that on our website and on LinkedIn. So that's another one that you can get involved in. And we always have funded projects and programs constantly being developed, so that there's always something happening, there's always new projects that become available, and being part of our network, being on our mailing lists, we can make sure that you get those notifications straight away. Okay, next one, Alice, please. Is Alice? Oh, she's there. Lovely. So some of these we've already talked about, so I will kind of skip through this. So apprenticeships and inclusive apprenticeships, they're always being dealt with by us with all our training providers. The internships and the university internships, postgraduates, Jane and Alicia have already spoken about those, so I won't go into too much detail on those. We do have some videos and presentations on T-levels and industry placements. So if anybody wants any more information on those, they are kind of apprenticeships but turned on the head. So they're full-time students and they have 1 day a week in an industry placement. So we can find out more for you on that, and we can get you introduced to people who are experts in that field. And we also occasionally do sector-based work academy programs with various training providers. So you may have an opportunity where you want to encourage as many applicants as possible, and that way the talent can come from a wider source and you can get them to sign up for the jobs. I think we've covered all those. So this is just a follow-up. Make sure that you follow us, keep up to date on where we are. I say we do have a mailing list. We do have a database that we like to keep of employers, so you always get up-to-date news. But one of the best places is our Skills Hub website. We do have a generic Skills Hub email where we all access, just to make sure that your emails don't go unnoticed. And if you take a look at the main Warwickshire Gov website, and then you'll see a link that also takes you to our Skills Hub website. So I think I've waffled on a little bit too much, so sorry about that, Vicky. But if you've got any questions, put them in the chat, or you can email us later, and we can help sort you out. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Heather. So Mark Capper from Mencap, I'll hand over to you now.
Thanks, Vicky. Hi everyone, so my name's Mark Capper. I'm the Head of Development at Learning Disability charity Mencap. We're delighted to be working in partnership with Warwickshire County Council and DFN Project Search to make access to apprenticeships for disadvantaged groups more of a thing. So next slide please, Alice. So for those of you that are not familiar with our with Mencap, we're a learning disability charity working across England, Wales and Northern Ireland. We have a sister charity, Enable Scotland, to enable us to work across the UK. Our charity supports people with a learning disability and their families across a variety of different things. We do policy work, we do campaigning work, we have a helpline. The largest part of our charity is health and social care, and the part of the organisation that I sit in deals with employment training. Next one, please. So in terms of the primary client groups we work with, so learning disability is the group that our charity focuses most on. We describe learning disability as an intellectual impairment, so it will impact on somebody for the whole of their life. And generally what it will mean is that for most it will take people longer to learn new skills and knowledge. So for the employment work, probably more the sort of mild to moderate end of the learning disability scale will be the sort of client groups that we'd be working with on our employment programs. Next one, please. So learning difficulty, we often see the terms learning disability and learning difficulty used interchangeably or connected. We see them as quite distinct groups. So a learning difficulty will be a particular barrier to learning. So things like dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, they're all barriers to learning, but the difference is that the barriers don't impact on somebody's intellect in the way that a learning disability does. We also work with people on the autistic spectrum. Again, it will affect people in lots of different ways. Common challenges may be around communication, interpretation of the world around people, lack of empathy, and common challenges for all these three groups is around job entry. So we work with those predominantly on our programs to enable people to move into work. The fourth group I've made reference to here is people with mental ill health, just to demonstrate the difference between certainly learning disability and mental ill health. Mental ill health is a fluctuating condition that can impact on anyone at any time. The primary challenge for a lot of people with mental ill health is retaining work. So job entry is less of a challenge, but actually staying in work can be a challenge if people fall ill. Okay, next slide, please. So in terms of apprenticeships, as you can see, very low percentage of people that started on an apprenticeship program between 2017 and 2019. So what we want to do is really try and address that issue by working collaboratively with organisations like DFN Project Search and with Warwickshire Council. Next one, please. So the figures are really low, despite there being very clear business benefits for working with these client groups. So we did a lot of research in 2019. We did a systematic review of all the business benefits that have been evidenced through previous research. And what we found was there was clear evidence that people with a learning disability stayed in entry-level jobs longer, have lower than average sick days. In some cases, we are aware of people that have had 25, 30 years of service with the employer and not had a single day off sick. Positive impact on staff morale. So people coming into work with a smile on their face and valuing their jobs has an impact on staff morale, and also that then impacts on productivity. Positive public perception of employers that take on people with additional challenges. And what we also always find is that we find hardworking, dedicated staff that have a really strong loyalty to the brand and the company that they work for. Next one, please. So what challenges do people face in terms of getting onto an apprenticeship program? So maths and English requirements in apprenticeships do create barriers. So some apprenticeship providers may require people to have maths and English GCSE to enter the program. Others may offer maths and English, but the minimum levels within apprenticeship standards may be prohibitive. So For a level 2 standard, level 1 working towards level 2 might be a big challenge for a lot of the client group. There are exemptions around minimum levels of maths and English if people have an education, health and care plan, and that means that the people can work towards entry level 3, which does break down some of those barriers. A lack of specialist training provision. So because people take longer to learn, they do need a bit more wraparound support. Not all training providers are able to provide this, so there doesn't often need to be some specialist provision, as in the support that Mencap offers. Inaccessible recruitment processes. So this is not just exclusive to apprenticeships, but for all employment, where we see a growing trend for online only application processes, where people will need both ICT skills and literacy levels to be able to access those opportunities. And quite often there will be an automatic exit from an online process if people don't meet particular criteria, which means that people don't get to present the different things that they may have done or being able to present positively about themselves. Employers and training providers equally not necessarily understanding how to apply reasonable adjustments under the Equality Act. So that can be used to an advantage, but often a lack of understanding of how to do it can create a barrier. Next one, please. So we're working, as I said, with Warwickshire County Council, the Skills Hub, and DFN Project Search to try and address some of these barriers. So we were fortunate enough to have some charitable funding that we've been able to put towards developing this model, and we've got real strong commitment from both of the organisations. So Warwickshire County Council and DFN Project Search have an established relationship and have been developing supported internship provision through the Project Search model for a few years. And what we wanted to really explore through a pilot was whether we could utilise that learning and those relationships to be able to progress people onto apprenticeships. Next one, please. So in terms of some of the reasonable adjustments that employers can make to make this more accessible, some of the considerations could be around extending a 12-month apprenticeship programme to 15 or potentially even up to 18 months to allow an apprentice more time. So for people, particularly if they haven't worked before, going into a full-time apprenticeship can be a bit of a challenge. So both the commitment of hours and physical resource in terms of working and the academic levels that need to be achieved, it may be an option to extend that programme. Support through additional learning support is also available, and flexibility around the endpoint assessment. So that can be a real challenge for people, but actually by providing support in professional discussions, potentially extending the time for professional discussions and utilising reasonable adjustments in the process can make the whole process more accessible and more achievable. Next one, please. So as an organisation that specialises in this with this group, we can offer learning disability awareness sessions, review recruitment processes, provide advice around reasonable adjustments, so particularly those I've mentioned around endpoint assessment, and crucially provision of a job coach. So this is somebody that would work alongside an apprentice whilst they're working, so that there's not an unreasonable requirement of managers or staff time to train a new member of staff. So the job coach can work as a conduit between the employer and the apprentice, but they're also their hands-on support throughout the process. Next one, please. So just as an example, this is Kazim. Kazim was 25 on our programme. He worked for Homes for Haringey and completed a level 2 customer services practitioner apprenticeship. He excelled in his role and was the first ambassador with a learning disability for the National Apprenticeship Service Fire It Up campaign. Next one, please. I'm conscious that we're tight on time, so I'll try and whistle through. So Mahi, Kazim's manager, here talks about the fact that this wasn't a charitable recruitment, that Kazim really brought something to their organisation. So he was completing real tasks that the organisation needed, but it also meant that Mahi reflected on her own role and the pace that she worked, and that enabled her to be more effective in managing and working with other colleagues. Next one, please. So the current standards that Mencap deliver are customer services practitioner and retailer. We'll shortly be adding health and social care and logistics to those options as well. Next one, please. So what we're doing with Warwickshire is targeting 15 apprenticeships as a minimum. The council are offering 3. And what we're looking at is working with like-minded organisations from within the Warwickshire boundaries to create a minimum of 15 apprenticeship opportunities. So we'd be more than happy to hear from any organisations that might be interested in being part of this programme. And I think the last one next. My contact details are there for anyone that wants to get in touch. So I'll leave you to it because we've only got 5 minutes left for Laura. Apologies, Laura.
Mark, could you pop your email address in the chat function as
Yep.
well, please? Brilliant, thank
I'll do that
you.
now. Thank you.
Okay, Laura, are you there?
Hi everybody, I am, yes. Are you able to play my video, Alice? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, hello?
Laura, the video is playing. There you go, Laura, the video's finished. I'm not sure if you could see.
No, I couldn't hear or see a thing then. It completely went like radio silence. So apologies on that. There must have been a lag. I hope it all was useful. Hi everybody, I'm Laura Johnson, the Partnership Coordinator here for Skill Support for the Workforce run by Serco. I don't have very long, so I'm on to another meeting in 3 minutes, but I'll try and do a whistle stop understanding for you as employers. We have a pot of funding up to £5 million in your area to support businesses to create growth and development within your staff development and onboarding process. So we've got 12 partners who all specialise in provider specialisms of delivery across all sectors here in the UK, from health and social care, logistics and transport, manufacturing, engineering, all the way through to sort of health and social care, retail, and also hospitality. We can offer short, sharp, fully funded courses which are accredited and non-accredited, which means we can create a bespoke package for each individual person and each employer, depending on where you want to upskill staff. We offer thousands and thousands of courses literally across all those sectors. Some of the main courses that we really have been seeing due to COVID response that have been really successful for businesses in your region have been the Institute of Learning Management Level 3, the Award in Education and Training, mental health training support, digital and IT support, where we look at marketing strategies and social media outreach. There's been a lot of health and social care courses as well that we've really supported on a bespoke basis, where we've been able to help businesses develop staff within short, sharp 1 and 2 day courses, which they come away with an accreditation on. So there's an awful lot of support out there for you as business owners and for staff to develop, to create retention and sustainability, and to help you sort of diversify in these difficult times, whether that's through innovation or business growth. The funds we have, there is no cap. So if you have 60 staff and you wanted to train them all, that is not a problem. And we can work with anybody within the business, whether that be a managing director or an individual who's just come off an apprenticeship, or even a Kickstart individual who's going to be taken on. So there's lots of scope to support you and the staff. And as I said, that will be at the level MVQ level 1, 2 and level 3 that we can support as well. Happy to take any questions on that at this stage, because I think that was very, very whistle stop with the time constraints we have today. I think my email's just gone into the chat as well, and happy to take any one-to-one discussions after this meeting as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Does anybody have any questions? Well, all of today's speakers have pasted their email addresses into the chat function, and I will be sending a recording and the slide deck from today. Oh, sorry, just bear with me. John, is that a question for Laura?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So Laura, predominantly, John, it is for it is for employers that have 250 staff and below. However, in your region, there is no restriction for us to work with a larger organisation. Should there be a business case and a development plan we can bring forward. So I would say it is widely open across your area for us to engage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? No? Okay, so I am conscious that we are a minute over time today. So obviously, outside of this webinar, we do welcome one-to-one conversations with employers, as do all of the partners who have chosen, who've supported us in presenting today. So if you would like us to make introductions, or obviously their email addresses have gone into the chat function, if you wanted to sort of make contact yourself, then obviously we all welcome those conversations outside of this forum. We're all happy to explore different ways in which we can support you with your ongoing skills requirements and recruitment support as well. So thank you all so much for your time today. And we will hopefully catch up with you all very soon. I will send the recording and the slides out. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.